Hello, 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 my beauties. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's Coach Viv here, intuitive and holistic stress coach. Welcome, welcome, welcome. 1 second, let me it's Coach Viv here. Turn my volume down. There we go. Hey guys. All right, so I am live on YouTube. And okay, yeah, everything's good. So how are you all doing? Let me get you closer. Come closer. So this is going to be for the folks from the future who are often a little more rushed because they're like, okay, what do you talk about in this video? I'm going to be doing community readings, like I'll pull like mini readings. And excuse me, I'm watching an elderly man. He's crossing the street and he's carrying his wife's purse, so it's really cute. It's like this pink metallic purse on this really old man. Anyway, and I'll also share with you what country I'm considering dating. Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about. So yes, I'm trying to get you even closer. Yes. Okay, I think that's good. Sorry about it's a little bit odd angle, right? You're seeing my ceiling. Let me see if I can bring you forward a little bit more. All right, hold on, guys. Let me get one thing. How are you all doing? Share in the chat how you're doing. And I can see, hold on. Let me pull up my chat on live chat. Okay, so I can see it on the computer. All right. Oh, this is good. So welcome. There's a couple other channels live right now, so that's okay. This is 7 o'clock here. I am in France, in the French, I wouldn't say quite the countryside. I mean, I could literally, if I drove, probably in 5 minutes, I'd be in the countryside actually. But I am in a town in central France. It's been really, actually, it's been normal like the last 3 days, but it's been hot otherwise. And I just know, that's part of the whole global warming industry that is happening, that we're doing to our planet. So let me just see here. Oh, and before I go any further, so again, especially subscribers, if you're a subscriber, I'm going to make sure to get in a reading for you before my phone or my computer dies. So do stick around for that. But yeah, I want to share with you a little bit about my journey. Those of you who are following the adventure, right? The adventure of basically slow traveling, like how, where in the world might one go to, have certain things. And again, I'm going to keep it a little bit vague just because of the times we're in. But yeah, I left America at the very, very end of January, like the last day of January or so. And I have been slow traveling, and just that has been really amazing because it's something that, I genuinely didn't think I'd be able to do it. As I'm recording this, do it for as long. As I'm recording this, it is just about to become July. It's June 29th. And so I'm like, wow, I really have been successfully pulled this off. So anyway, so that's to encourage you. If you have an adventure you want to do, you can do your adventure. Okay. Don't think that you're too old or anything like that. All right. Let me move that over just a little bit. So who's here? Post it looks like, you can do comments it'll come through via StreamYard. And what I have on the screen, you guys, is actually, I'm having a sale. I want to mention it early on. I am having a sale on the chakra energy healing. It's $149 instead of $199, and the chakra energy healing that I do combines working with your energy, working with the chakras, as well as divination. Okay, so I do divination after I work with the energy, after I sort of check in and see what chakra might be shut down, what chakra is more open. And I've gotten really great feedback from those who have had it. I don't talk about the service a huge amount. Here, hold on, let me prop you guys a little bit differently. Oh, now you're going to go way forward. But yeah, I wanted you to know that I am running a sale. It actually says YouTube, like it's a YouTube sale. Okay, so do check that out if you're into chakras, and especially if you feel a little bit stuck. Hold on, let me do. So, what do I mean by that? Like, if you're stuck in any particular area of your life, a lot of times working with the chakra energy can be like a boost. And you guys know I've been doing yoga and meditating for decades. And so it really has given me a certain amount of capacity. So, do check that out. And I'll put the link afterwards below as a live link. So, what country am I considering? So, I've been slow traveling. Where have I been? I've been to the UK. I've been all around the UK, you guys, and that was my first time also visiting. So I think I'll share a little bit about each country, and then again, just my observations. This is not, facts. It's not written in stone. And what are facts these days, right? Do we have facts anymore, people? Hey, if you're just joining, I'll be doing mini readings I'm going to really try to start with subscribers. And then I also am sharing first about what country I am considering dating. All right. So far I have been in the UK, and a lot of similarities to America. Okay. Again, this is just my superficial from visiting, which is how most of you, right? We're going to visit the country, right? This isn't talking living there for like 20 years. So, beautiful, like, I love the old stone houses of the UK. I spent a little time in London, but not very much because I knew I was doing slow travel, right? I didn't want to blow it on like one city, right? Which with London, everybody will tell you it is very expensive. I love London, you guys. I love, love London. Let me check my cell phone. Yeah, I really like London. As a New Yorker, I have certain standards, especially New York, not like recent New York, but New York more when it was really shining and gleaming. Um, so I thought London was really quite an impressive city, fairly clean. I just love the mix of the history and the historic buildings and all the, iconic things. Like I went and looked at Buckingham Palace, like, all of that stuff with the sort of the modern aspect, but also even the modern, but then in the small towns, I love I went to a pub, you guys, that was like 500 years old. And so it was leaning, and I made a joke just to get the people to laugh. I think they took me seriously. They didn't get like American humor because I said something about, oh, what if it falls down? Because it was definitely like sagging or something. And they're like, well, it is, it's been here since 1450. It's unlikely it'll fall down now. It was a joke, people. It was like this heavy ass wooden beam, like, thick beam, like over us. And yeah, I think it was from like the 1500s. Anyway, so I really like the UK. I love the countryside. Ask me questions if you want me to answer particular questions. Again, just looking at countries that one could relocate, immigrate to, whatever. Okay. Um, so love the UK. And it is very diverse. Even in the small towns, there is, and now you guys should know, I'm taking some of what I'm going to say now from comments on YouTube. How accurate can I count comments on YouTube? Are they the people who are disgruntled? So even in very, very tiny small towns, and this is actually hilarious, the best food I had was an Indian restaurant. Also, the worst food I had in another town was an Indian restaurant where literally, for those of you who let me know if you love Indian, give me a heart or anything like that. I love Indian food. I love the spiciness of it. I love the vegetarian stuff is really good, flavorful, right? Because I'm from the Caribbean, so we like food with some flavor, like most of us do. But one Indian restaurant in one town, I swear to God, they just put sugar in everything. It was so sweet. It was disgusting. Like they literally, and I think this was maybe for the British taste, they literally had like a curry or whatever, but it was just sweet, and it was really horrible. Then the other restaurant that everybody in the town loved in a different town, excellent Indian food, like top quality, and I was running across the street like every other day. So I love the people also were pretty nice. I definitely had a couple instances where I think people were, there was an underlying racism that was absolutely there as well. Um, in one of the towns I was in, it was, like I said, it was such an old town, the one with a 500-year-old inn, right? Um, I'd see people now, maybe it's my beauty, who knows, and I am striking, right? But you'd see people from across the street sort of like their head would swivel. And I think it's more too that they know you're not from the town. I think you walk differently, you're just dressed slightly differently. People can pick that up, and it's like it's not your town, so you have a different vibe. But overall, I think that England for an American is definitely, and for a Black American, I think is definitely livable. Now, it's pretty expensive, and so I just, yeah. But anyway, so I really just wanted to see it. Okay, so that was the first place. Then um, and so I've been to Italy. You guys know now that's my spot. I went specifically to Sardinia, which any of you, if you love beaches, some of the most beautiful beaches really, really in the world. It gets not, I don't think so many Americans go, right? A lot of Europeans go. So it can get really crowded, but beautiful beaches. Once you go a little interior though, peaceful, like stepping back in time, almost to like the stereotype of Italy, like small towns, people like living like just a different lifestyle. I mentioned it in one video. The town I went to prior, everybody grew their own wine. Like people were, had their own vineyard or garden and I guess would press their wine. I don't know how they got it from the grapes into the wine. And I told you guys, and I'm not even a big wine lover, but the wine was delicious. I had no hangover. It tasted good. I had no hangover. And I had I felt relaxed, but I wasn't like drunk. Okay. And apparently this wine that I'm talking about, hey, if you're just joining, on the island of Sardinia in Italy, is it's known for longevity. Now we're talking the people of the previous generation before McDonald's and all like it's getting infiltrated with just more junk stuff. But it's one of the blue zones, one of the areas where people live the longest, and the wine is definitely considered part of it. So you guys, if you do drink wine, look into specifically, I think it's the Cannonau wine from Sardinia. There are other parts of the world that pretty much grow the same wine, but it definitely is part of the reason they think that it's part of the lifestyle in Sardinia. And the olive oil, the olive oil. But anyway, the wine was delicious. So I was in Italy again more recently. I loved it. Again, I choose small towns, so that's on me. Hey, if you're just joining, I know some other folks were live, so it's 7 o'clock here. Thank you so much for joining. I didn't want to start any later. There wouldn't be enough light. It would be indoor light, and that really kind of sucks, right? So, but yeah, welcome. I'm going to be doing mini readings for subscribers, viewers, and I'm just talking about what country I'm dating. And I'm sharing the countries I've been in. So the UK, and then I went back to Italy. You guys saw a little clip in one video. They were literally having this ancient festival of like Saint Isidoro. I've never heard of. Have you ever heard of Saint Isidoro? Tell me if you're Catholic. Seriously, have you ever heard of a saint called Isidoro or Isidora? Not like Isadora Duncan, no. And they had these huge ass like bulls, like taller than me. I didn't get too close, but they looked taller than me. Pulling, and they were decorated, with flowers on them. And they just had this little festival, and it was about the harvest, and they were harvesting like peaches. It's the kind of stuff you kind of want to see as a tourist, right? You know what I mean? That feels authentic. It's not just like a Disneyland. Let me know what you guys think about that. So I filmed some of that. I put a little clip in one video, I think, but I didn't make like a full video. So I like Italy. Now for many, of course, there are many like Black Italians living there who have, they went to school there, they speak fluent Italian. I don't know their experience. There's definitely a lot of like migrants. And so there definitely is a feeling different than when I went 20 years ago. It was either 20 or 25 years ago. So Italy feels different in how I feel like it views Black people. And it's definitely because of the immigrants, the boat folks coming over, who of course coming for a better life. But that I think has shifted a little bit the kind of understanding of when an Italian may see somebody who's black. They're kind of like, are you American? Again, I'm talking of smaller towns, probably not like in Rome and the big cities. Generally, I've been treated very well. And again, there's a warmth. I'm going to compare them to the French in just a minute. There's a warmth that I find to Italians, Italians. I'm not talking about Italian Americans, because I think there obviously there's a difference. Um, but especially if you go to a smaller town, now they may literally ask you like, and you got to take this. This is really interesting. I want to know what you guys think. I'm a pragmatic person. I definitely recognize there's racism. Of course, I experience it. But and this is my takeaway for any of you, but whether you could be Asian watching me, right? You're going to go someplace. Don't let somebody ruin your vacation. Don't let someone ruin your time in a country, okay? Truly, right? You may be, because there is discrimination against different groups, right? And so you may be from a group that this particular nation really doesn't like, right? But I always say and that it can be hard because you're like, I just want to relax. I'm spending my money. You don't want to be treated badly. Of course, I understand that. But one time, one of the towns, really small town, like 3,000 people, um, a woman came up to me. She was walking, and I could see her kind of looking at me. And she goes, I saw you walking in the street. What? Why? What are you doing here? And I was kind of like, now I read the situation. I'm a New Yorker. Okay, that is important. Any New Yorkers in the house? What do I mean by that? I'm used to dealing with crazy people who might stab you in a second with like something they have under their like shroud that they're wearing because they're homeless and they smell bad. I'm used to like interacting also with all different kinds of people from all different ethnicities, all of that. So I kind of sized the lady up. She was quite an old lady. She was wearing like a long black skirt, like almost like the stereotype of old Italy. I think she even had like a head scarf. And I smiled at her and I says, oh, what, I'm an American. I'm a tourist. And she's like, oh. And I was like, yeah. And she's like, oh, okay. I was kind of walking while I was like, oh, I'm walking. I'm not going to give you a full rundown. Um, so yeah. And then some people, yeah. And then other people, I went into this pizza parlor where I said, you guys, I had the best pizza of my life in this town in Italy. It was so delicious. It was so delicious. It had like 5 things on it. Vegetables. It also had some meat on it. It was amazing. The little pizzeria. I spoke to the owner. He was dressed in like a very nice jacket. He had like a scarf at his neck. He was very proud. His daughter was there. He introduced his daughter. His wife was the waitress. And we had a nice little conversation. They couldn't speak much English. I didn't speak much Italian. And it was it was just like, oh, you're here. Yes. And I said, the pizza's wonderful. And do you also have your own wine? And he was drinking his wine. He says, yes, this is my wine. This is my own wine. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I do like Italy. Now, the French. Let's talk about the French. And I am in France. I should lower my voice. I'm in an Airbnb. Okay, let's talk about the French. All right. I think Paris is different. Paris is a whole different world. Okay, people. I went through Paris. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Seriously, I was overwhelmed. Because remember, I speak a little Italian. And Italians, if you even try to speak, they praise you. They think you're fantastic. And an American who's trying to speak Italian, oh, wonderful, right? And then I was in the UK. Easy. Of course, they're like, oh, yeah, you've got a weird accent. Whatever. But in France, if people speak English, this is what I get, they're a little, it's not quite embarrassed. Italians, I'm going to be really honest with you. I feel like Italians, they are more down to earth. You can tell they're embarrassed a little bit. They don't speak English and they know you're a tourist. They just feel like, oh gosh, I wish I could say a few words or I could help you. The French, on the other hand, it's more like, I know you're a tourist. I know you're only here for a couple weeks, but still, you don't speak French. And so, you know, they're not rude. I have really not been treated rudely. People try to tell me things that they think are interesting about America. You can see them kind of perk up. Um, there's this beautiful park, you guys, gorgeous park. It's named like Jardin de Wilson. And I'm like, Wilson? That's like Jardin Smith. That's not French. Come to find out, it's named after Woodrow Wilson because in World War II, and I'm not going to get into politics, but America, a lot of what America did, talking historically, it did create soft power. What does soft power means? It just means that America was looked at in a good way in a lot of countries. So they named this beautiful garden, you guys, after Woodrow Wilson because apparently he signed, and I should know this, he signed some pact, some peace treaty after World War II. And so this gorgeous formal French park with this fountain, they named it after an American president. And I was like, wow. Okay, so that was the soft power, hey Gigi, that I fear that we might be losing, right? Because reputation matters. Reputation matters. So here I am in the middle of kind of nowhere in France, and there's this garden named after an American. And like I said, the French aren't rude, but they're just like, you know what, I don't speak English. And they're just like, and again, if you look at France historically, they're like, we're the culture. Like, I get it. It comes from a pride in their culture. So they're like, yeah, English is top right now, but whatever. We're still doing everything in French, right? So that's strong. So unless you know French, I wouldn't think of it as a relocation country. If you're from Haiti and you some country, Martinique, you have some French, or you're American, whatever, you can learn it. Then more power to you. Let me pause there before I get to the reveal of what country I'm thinking of going to, of dating. So yeah, Gigi, hi Gigi. Let me see if I can put your comment up. Oops. No, show on stage. Yeah, I'm gonna hold the phone for a little bit. Let's see, is Gigi's comment there? Yeah, hey, there's another one. Yeah, do you want to guess? Know before you go? I think I know where you probably were because before you go makes me think you were watching a travel channel before this. Let me know if I'm right. Um, yes. And I think I'm going to take you guys with me. Oh, okay, New York, yes. Now, New York City, show on stage. New York City or just the state? Not like just, but you know what I mean. And yeah, comment, you guys. Let me know how you're doing with everything going on. How's your mental health and how's everything going? So those are the three countries I've been to. The UK, there definitely is subtle signs of racism and xenophobia. I'm not going to lie. And at the same time, it's a country that is extremely diverse, right? Now, I don't wouldn't say that in London. London felt different. Okay, so you go to these cities. So London, if you can afford to live there, you guys, I really like London. It had a good vibe. It had a city vibe, stuff happening, but it felt fairly clean, and I felt safe as well. Um, then, like I said, I was in Italy. I was in Rome before. Rome, you know, Rome is its own like beast. It's its own, it's that Italian sort of disorganization, a little chaotic. But I really liked Rome. Rome also extremely diverse. But then I was staying in small towns in like Sardinia, which any of you, uh, black, brown, or pink, check out Sardinia. It's underrated for Americans. Beautiful beaches, very nice people. And it needs, I don't know if I'd say it needs the tourism boost. It in the summer, it's crazy. It gets crazy. So, what country do you guys think I'm considering moving to? I'm going to give like a minute. It's probably going to be out of the blue. Now, I say that, and then because I'm not good at secrets, I might have mentioned it, and I've mentioned it. I mentioned different countries, but tell me what country you think I might be applying for citizenship. Not citizenship, sorry, that's not, but for residency. I want to give you a chance to guess. I want to see what you say. Let's see. Yeah, no, before you go. No, I mean, listen, Italy has broken my heart because, hold on. It has because, to be really honest, part of it is my own fault. the way I would be able to go to Italy is to teach English in a school. And so for someone who that's really where, I want to be, I just, I left teaching. Know before you go, I left teaching because I was bullied in academia and like as a professor, it gets meaner up at that level, believe me. And so I don't know, the classroom, I'm kind of traumatized, guys. And I keep getting so many leads. If you've been following my channel for a lot, I mean, I've gotten leads for teaching. In fact, the last time, so when I was just in Italy a couple of weeks ago, I got more leads. The dude's like, well, don't give him my name because he goes, it won't help you. I'm like, okay. But he goes, these are the schools you could apply, you could get a job. I'm like, okay. The problem with Italy is most of those schools won't want to pay for me. They have to pay to sponsor me, basically, to get me the visa. And so if I can figure out how to be in Italy, then I could get a teaching job on the side totally legally. The problem with that is I would have to enroll in a school. And there were a couple of reasons I didn't want to do that. One, I thought I would go through a lot of money doing that. And I also thought that, and I'd be paying for my housing and paying to go to school. And then you're allowed to work 20 hours a week. And it is a way to get into Italy, completely legal and way. But I just thought I would need about 6 months, I think is the minimum. And then I could transfer to a work visa. I don't know. It felt, and there was another reason I won't mention that put me off that had nothing to do with Italy. So not the UK, no, because like I said, to me, I know many Americans like kind of, standard Americans, let's just say, they would move to the UK if they were going to like buy a house because it's similar enough to America. You're going to feel fine. They're of course it's a different culture, but they speak English. We know enough British culture. We've seen British movies. Even the words, if they say, I think they say trousers. What I found really interesting with England, you guys, that was hilarious. And I said it to a British person and they were like, oh, I said, it's like British English is more formal. So like you say trousers, we would never say trousers, but we know what trousers mean because it's sort of old fashioned. So UK English, you guys, British English is a little more, I feel like it's more formal and more old fashioned to American ears. They use words that are definitely words we know, but aren't in the common usage. And I can't think of any right now. So the country that I'm thinking of, okay, I can see the chat there. Anybody else want to guess? Let me just see if I can move my chat up. Hold on. Let's see. Hey. Oh, give the video a thumbs up if you haven't already. Okay, yeah, so not the UK. The country that I am really strongly, and I'm going to take you on the journey with me, is the Netherlands. The Netherlands, Holland. Apparently Holland, I think, is only for part of the country. So Holland doesn't mean the whole country. So Netherlands, I'm thinking of the Netherlands. What do you guys think? The Netherlands, yes. Yes, yes, yes. The country that I am thinking of dating. Now, have I ever been to the Netherlands? No. What have you guys heard about the Netherlands, right? The stereotypal. Okay, so Holland. You think of the beautiful tulips, the fields of tulips. Like they do produce like 85 or 90% of the tulips in the world. You think of all the canals. You think of very liberal, right? You probably think of, oh, thank you. Thanks for saying that. Why do you think so? I do want you guys' opinion. Yeah. Yeah. Here, you guys are like literally in like a candle holder. There's a lot, it's complicated. So as an ex-professor, you guys know, and you should know this about me, like if we ever work together, if I ever coach you, I dive deep into stuff when I'm interested. I get really geeky. So there's definitely problems with the Netherlands, but there's a lot of good things. The main problem is there's a housing shortage. I won't even get into why, because I think it's too, I will get too off topic, but I don't think the housing has to exist. I think it's some of the laws. Because like somebody told me about one law, because I was like, oh, I know I'll get an apartment this way. And they go, nope, that is They do not encourage that. That is illegal. Like I was like, what? Anyway, so they have a housing crisis, and especially around Amsterdam, around the areas that a lot of, wait for it, Americans, right, come in, and other Europeans, I guess, going in who maybe make more money, right? Then the rents go, so the usual thing, something I'm not really going to contribute to. Okay. Um, so yeah, the Netherlands, you think tulips, you think it's a flat country. They're all on bikes, right? That's a big, big thing. They really discourage car usage. So there's like bike lanes, there's bike parking. It's crazy because I haven't ridden a bike in a long time. In fact, I had an accident on a bike. So you guys, I love walking. I love walking. So I'm going to apply, and I'm going to apply under for what's called the DAFT visa. Any of you who are actually interested in, you know, relocation, right? My channel isn't about relocation, but I want to take you guys along, right? I'm all about meditation, stress, healing holistically, and manifestation, being in flow, and all of that. But I want to take you guys along because there is some overlap, I know, between my channel and some channels where especially African American women are moving abroad. So let me see. Know Before You Go has a great comment here. Let me see. Show on stage. All right. Let me see if I can bring the comment up. Gigi, are you still here? All right. Hold on. Let's see. Yes. Know Before You Go says, it's easier for me to read it on the side here. I haven't heard many bad things about Holland besides the housing crisis and the attack on farmers. Yeah, tell me what you mean by the attack on farmers. I think what you may be referring to is there's this the EU, and this may literally be changing right in this moment, the EU was really trying to deal with climate change. So they were shutting down certain things as a whole. They really were going into countries and being like, okay, you guys don't do this efficiently, right? There was this efficiency thing. You guys don't do this as well as this other country. So we're gonna shut this down. I totally get that that is very upsetting, and I don't know the solution because it's also happening in Italy. Somebody told me there's something that they grow that the EU's like, no, you're not as efficient at it. So now even Italians are like forced to, maybe it was like a cheese or something. They're forced to buy it from like Holland or something. So they're trying to, just the way like we have the federal government and they have some oversight. Yeah, I think the EU is kind of trying to micromanage the countries, and it definitely has some negatives because people are used, this is what they do, right? If you're a farmer, you don't want to be told you can't farm. So definitely, that's definitely, thank God that has nothing to do with immigrants. Um, okay, but some of the issues I have seen are, again, and these are online folks might be more disgruntled. I don't, and if you are from the Netherlands, speak up. They're just like, I think there's some slight anti-American sentiment because, again, just like Spain, right? I'm talking rich Americans, which I am not, go in and they don't have a housing crisis because they'll pay, 400,000 for a house. But a Dutch person, you guys, they don't make enough money to do that. So then they see Americans coming in with like big money. So I think there's some resentment starting among the Dutch for sure. Because the housing crisis, there's definitely some anti-immigrant sentiment, which translates as, I think in some places, anti-black, anybody with brown skin. So, yeah, okay, that's interesting. That's an interesting opinion. Yeah, I don't, yeah. Let me just see your comment. You said Mother Earth can manage herself. Can she though? Would I don't I don't know if I agree with that. Um, I think ultimately, and some people say this, humans may be sloughed off the way we slough off dead skin by Mother Earth, right? Through our own actions. I'll never forget. Remember when all the planes had to stop, you guys, because of a volcano going off in Iceland? I'm 99% sure it was Iceland, and there was so much like little like not silt, but dust in the air and particulate that planes couldn't fly. And I thought, oh, isn't that interesting? Mother put a stop to it, right? And it was, and as you all heard, all of us heard during COVID, how so many ecosystems started to come back. So yeah, I don't know. Unless you mean that, that's how I see it anyway. Is that if we continue down the road we are already in my lifetime, I can see climate changing, and it's not just me. People who apolitical people telling me, for instance, where I was in Massachusetts, really quick, used to have so much snow. I think I was complaining about the snow, and he's like, "This is nothing. We used to have feet of snow in the winter," and he just would talk to me about it. And this was someone who also farmed, and I was like, "Feet of snow." Like he's like, it was normal to have so much snow. So yes, weather shifts, but I mean, there's definitely evidence of that this shift is caused by human greed, I would say. Um, so back to the Netherlands. In many ways, it is an ideal country, also very LGBTQ. I might be leaving somebody off. I'm sorry. But it's liberal in that way. When you think Amsterdam, you think of the pot brownies, right? Years ago, that's how I thought. And I literally was like, oh, I don't know. I don't think I would like that because it sounded so liberal. Oh, I think they even have prostitutes in the windows. Is that right? You guys from the future? I'm pretty sure that is. So again, 15 years ago, I was a lot younger and I'm just like, that is so weird. Like, I don't understand. They just sit in a window, like, because I think they thought, you know what, let's legalize things and then we can really control it so it doesn't become like this horrible, horrible thing. And so apparently, coffee shops in the Netherlands means a shop where you go and get like, brownies with like hash or pot in them. So yeah, you don't say you're going to a coffee shop, you say you want a cafe, and that means a place that has coffee. Anyway, like I said, I'm diving deep into this. And so apparently what I saw as comments is like, yeah, most Dutch people they're not excited about it because it's so common. Like it's more the tourists, right, who go, oh my God, you can have pot brownies and you can do this. And, because it's like new compared to their country. So that is the country is the Netherlands. I'm going to be doing it pretty fast. So like I said, I'll take you guys with me. I don't know if most folks on the channel will be interested. Again, this channel, it's holistic lifestyle, well-being, and maybe also the theme of reinvention, specifically for women of a certain age. I want to say over 35, because I feel like 35 is an age where women really start to think about, oh my gosh, am I still going to try to have kids? Like, if they don't have kids, it's a certain, like 35 feels to me like it starts a turning point. I could say 40, but just about reinvention and starting again and taking risks and all that. So, yeah, the red light district. Yes, exactly. They just legalized everything. Like, I get it. It's almost like, I know in some places in the US, I think my town in the US was like wanting to legalize syringes for drug addicts because, which I just didn't like the idea, but it's like, well, then they turn the syringe in, like this idea that you can, then things are clean, there's going to be less disease, there's going to be less overdoses, like kind of trying to manage it rather than like, oh my God, we're going to eradicate it. Like we've seen America's war on drugs, right? And, how does that go? Versus some countries who try to kind of almost manage the problem, maybe with a little bit less morality in it. So yeah, the Netherlands. We will see because I have heard. Thank you so much. No, before you go, um, I have heard that there have been people who have gotten the DAFT visa and then still they couldn't stay because they couldn't find housing. So apparently that's not unheard of, right? So what is the DAFT visa? And let me know if you guys have any questions. Like I said, I know a lot of my viewers, the other channel is live that has, some of my viewers are definitely watch that channel as well. So a lot of you are going to be watching the replay. And yes, I took this from Stephanie Perry. She goes, hi to the folks in the future or whatever. I hope it's nice there, whatever. So future folks, let me know what you think. If you know anything about the Netherlands, you have any tips. any ideas. Like I said, some things I'm not going to just totally put out in the public, but there are reasons I did choose the Netherlands. Um, the DAFT visa is specifically the Dutch American Friendship Treaty. Dutch American Friendship Treaty was signed after World War II. There's also one that's Dutch and Japan, right? So it was like to kind of soothe things over after the war. So there's a Dutch Japan treaty as well. And it's to allow an exchange of people who are business owners or entrepreneurs, self-employed. You can be self-employed, and so America has it for for Dutch people, and in Holland, Netherlands has it for Americans. So that's what I'm going to try. And usually, if I were coaching myself, I would, when I'm coaching, let me take you off stage, say, don't say try, right? Because I think that's like a Yoda thing. But when I hear somebody say try, there's a lot of different factors. So, but I'm excited about it. That's what I'll be working on, and really in the next couple of weeks. So we should have an answer pretty soon. Now, if anyone would like a card draw on a topic, I'm going to say the topic is. Oh, yeah, Know Before You Go says, I'll watch a replay of the other channel. Glad I caught live today. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Know Before You Go. I feel like, do I know you? Those screen names, a lot of times we don't know folks by. Yeah. In fact, yeah, because a lot of my regulars are not here. I'm going to shuffle. And if you would like a card draw, I have this, which is the Starseed deck. Just again, tapping into our intuition is so important. And I'm also going to shuffle the Faces of Oshun deck. Yeah. The other live is nice. I was watching for a little bit. They're exclusively talking about getting clients to be able to move abroad, funding moving abroad. So we're doing more the spiritual. So if you would like me to pull a card, let me know in the chat. Ah, awesome. Awesome. Know Before You Go. Yeah. Nice. I love how this looks. Yeah. Just the brightness and the honeybees. I don't know if you guys know, but honeybees are very much tied to multiple goddesses, multiple versions of the divine feminine. So here, Oshun, but in other cultures as well, the bees and that queen bee, of course, right, is tied to mystery schools and the feminine, the divine feminine. So yes. So I'm going to shuffle and see if anybody Know Before You Go. Would you like a card draw? And so yes, the question, because usually I determine the question so that it's fresh each live. The question is kind of like about change, I would say, since that's what I was talking about. What change, if I pull for someone, the question is around what kind of changes need to be made for their highest good or for their flourishing. So let me know in the chat if you'd like a card draw. You've got to ask. And some of you are so shy. Yeah, of course your nose start itches when you go live. So, and again, on the screen, hold on, let me see if I can how do I take that one off? The energy healing. So I'm not just doing divination anymore. I'm mixing it with the chakra energy healing. Okay. So with tuning in, what I do is I tune in at a distance. It's like a Reiki. I tune in and then see, like right now I'm feeling very like third eye awakened. So I tune in. I usually ask for permission from the client's higher self. And then I have a method where I connect my higher self to their higher self, like a joining. So it's sort of from the highest aspect, not the personality or the fears or the worries of the person, right? Because sometimes people come to you and they're worried about something. So trying to go to like their highest self. And then, so this is when I'm doing like the chakra energy activation. So I basically get permission from their higher self. I connect my higher self to theirs. And then I'm able to basically like get a read on the chakras. It's really cool. I feel or don't feel certain chakras. And so then I literally go in and working energetically activate the chakra. Okay. That I'm led to. It might not be, there might be a couple that need work, but just in terms of subtle energy, I usually just pick one, maybe two, and do this energy work. And then, you know, pause, let it integrate, separate from their higher self. And then the whole while the person is laying down, they're listening to music or something, but we're like on Zoom together. And then I come back and then I kind of tell them what I saw. And usually they're like, confirm and or just surprised and like, yeah, I've been going through this, whatever. And then I do a reading. I use, it's not a full divination, it's related to what their issue is. So I'll pull some Oshun, I'll pull some Starseed, and maybe some Tarot. Between those three, you really can get a lot of clarity, right? The Tarot has its symbolism, and then this card, which like look at what's at the bottom, Weight of the World, right? It has certain type of energy, very celestial, very yeah, starseed, past lives, energy, very celestial. And then I feel like Mama Oshun is very grounded, more earthy. And so it's a nice compliment. So again, I'm having a sale on that. So I will put the link below for an energy alchemy session. And let me close that. So, oops. Yeah, let me see. Is anything showing there? All right, so let me check the comments. Yeah, okay. So nobody wants, okay, if you don't want a card draw, then that's okay too. How long have I been live? I have been live for 47 minutes. All right, and channel members watching this, you will soon have July's intuitive reading out. I'll probably work on that tomorrow, not tonight. Like I said, it's kind of sunset here almost, but I will probably have that tomorrow out for channel members. And again, channel members, thanks so much for your support. It's like those of you who are not a channel member, if you love what I do, it's like $4.99 a month, $5.99 a month, something like that. And also channel members, yes, the live for the month of June, it's going to be any day now. I need to just pick a time, and it's just a sharing. We just share how we're doing. I'm so far not doing like themes or anything like that. And over time, I want to see what folks want it to be about, but just getting together and, sharing space. So yeah, I think I'm going to leave it at that then. I'm going to leave it at that. So know before you go, it was great to see you in here. Gigi, great to see you. Like I said, many of my regulars are not here. And so I show up anyway. I showed up for you. And let's just close with a little centering practice. All right. Deep breath in and out. If you'd like to put your hands over your heart center. Pull up nice and tall. And I'm just going to actually send some energy out. I'm going to send to the root chakra so that we feel in these times of chaos, we feel very grounded in with Mother Earth. No, before you go, you'd like a reading. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. You waited. You waited. All right. I will pull a card in 1 second. So I was really going to close out with this. Unless there was a delay in coming through. So yeah, I'm just going to tune into the root chakra at the base of the spine, or you could feel at the perineum. And if you want to really activate it, you could pull up like you're doing Kegels. You sort of pull up and tighten and release. And that actually really does strengthen the organs. I had a friend telling me about her partner who was having some issues, some performance issues, we'll just say, and then stopped having them, and apparently he said he was doing these. I don't know if more than once a day, probably. He was just doing these sort of contractions. And yeah, so it brings circulation into the organs. So just do a pulsing and let's tune into our root chakra. And then, yes, I'll pull a card for before you know. Yes. Um, if you can, put your feet flat on the ground since we're focused on the root chakra here. You want to feel like you're pulling the warmth, even from the core of Mother Earth. I often make my root chakra um, meditation connect directly down into the earth and feel it like the warm heart of the earth coming up to nurture you and nourish you through the soles of the feet. If you'd like to see a warm or a deep brown color that you associate with earthiness, with strength, with vitality, sending you energy right now for that root chakra. I have definitely had people tell me that when they do my chakra meditations, they literally do feel like activation. And they're like, I don't feel that with other videos. And that's because when I'm recording these videos, I'm literally going through and doing it as well. And so that energy as a spiritual teacher can be felt by sensitive people. Okay, so you may feel warmth at the tailbone, at the sacrum. You are grounded, you are safe, you are connected to Mother Earth, you are supported and provided for. Okay, so I'm going to pull from the Oshun deck. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you? No, I didn't see the comment. Yeah, no, I just saw stuff about Holland, the red light district. You had 2 consults. Ah, okay. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, awesome. Awesome. Let's see. And again, this is around the question of change. What sort of change or adjustment, tweaking would be helpful? Okay, I'm pulling it straight up. It looks like it's upside down. Okay. What did you get? Ooh, okay. Oshun of shame and regret. I know that's kind of a heavy one. Okay. This is for know before you go. Let's say no. This is for know before. Okay. Yeah. Okay, but there's always, this is helpful. It says guilt, remorse, or self loathing. So you might be dealing with some guilt or some remorse, obviously from the past, based on something that you did or felt maybe that you didn't do. Okay. And this card is very much about just processing it, letting it go. I'm going to show you, I'm going to hold it up really close so you can see the beautiful imagery here. I'm going to get the book because I want to give you, there is typically an affirmation with, and I'm going to pull one more also because, so this is Mama Oshun. She's more blunt. She says, you're definitely dealing with feelings of regret or shame about something, just beating yourself up about something. And the message is to let that go. I'm going to pull from the Star Seed for you to get a complimentary. Let's see if we can get a complimentary card to help with this. No, I'd love to know, what is it? Is it something that you felt you did that you felt you could have done better? Or is it something that you did not do and you feel regret? Let me pull from the Starseed Oracle also for you. Okay, this is the card that wants to come up and it feels like it wants to turn. So what card is this, guys? Baby steps. Okay. All right. This is a beautiful balance. All right. You got baby steps. And literally, I just got this card yesterday. So the baby steps card, there's a figure. I don't know if you can see. There's a tiny figure and there's like a beautiful archway and it's very celestial, sort of amethyst. It says, action, follow your intuition before it makes sense. Follow your intuition to do something before you really understand the full unfoldment, okay? That can be very hard. Wow. No says, this is amazing. Yeah, I'm going to put it up. Thank you. Thanks for confirming, my abilities. I am very intuitive and specifically to channel people at like a healing level. So they say, that's amazing. I'm working on letting go of shame of what someone else did. All right. So, yeah, you're being told take baby steps. So, still related to this. So, I pulled those two to speak to each other and to speak to you. Follow your intuition before it makes sense. So, maybe you're being told to do a certain thing. Go ahead and do that. You can follow my voice here. So let's get you the affirmation. I don't have the affirmations, obviously, for Faces of the Ocean Oracle. It's a pretty big book. Let's see. So don't be ashamed of having shame or regret. We're all learning, and that's the thing. I got a different card recently that was saying, you think when things go well that you're being rewarded, and if they don't go well, you're being punished, but it's more that it's just a learning process. And I was like, wow, that is really deep. And also, for those of you watching, I know this is going to help some of you. A dear friend of mine who is a meditation teacher as well, she said sparked this realization in me. We often, when we have to make a choice, we think there's a right and a wrong choice. But often that's not even the case. They just give different outcomes. Both may still have problems and both may have good. Can you see that? So it's more about they're just there isn't like one that's absolutely right and one that's wrong. They're just different. So, okay, so this is reading for the ocean of shame and regret. And I just want to give you the affirmation you can say. I embrace the power of self compassion. I embrace the power of self compassion. So that's really beautiful. Because, yes, those of you just joining, I saw the number pop up and then somebody popped back off, popped back on. She says that they're working on letting go of shame about what someone else did. So, yeah, keep taking those baby steps, keep moving forward. Okay? Keep moving forward. That is the message. That is the message, yeah. And if somebody else did it, I just feel like, it's really on them. That's their karma, and that's something they'll have to deal with at some point, right? It's not for you to really carry that. Yeah. And let me give you, last thing. So before I go, the baby steps. Yes, the baby steps are. So this Starseed deck gives you an inquiry question. So let me tell you what that is. What's one simple baby step you can take in the direction of your soul's calling? Or maybe here in the direction of your soul's healing? Okay, because it's definitely related to the shame and regret. So what is a baby step you can take, before you go? Yeah. What's one baby step? Yeah. I know this can be so hard. I mean, this is why Abiola, who is the creator of this deck, this wonderful Oshun deck, she has things in there to help us with our healing, right? And so that is our healing. You're in a healing phase right now, and you should feel proud of yourself that you are actually doing that rather than just sort of coasting through life like most people. So, sending you love and blessings. And guys, I see some of you just joining. I'm about to close it out now. My Sunday live. Go to the beginning. I share a little bit about the countries I visited, my take on them, and then I share about what country I am considering getting citizenship in. I'm going to start it and I'm going to take you guys with me. And it's a country that's going to surprise most of you, unless you don't read the comments. Okay. Much love, guys. I will have a video for you maybe Tuesday, definitely Thursday, and my lives on Sunday. Couple of things. Please don't forget, I'm having a sale on the Chakra Energy Alchemy. It is powerful. It's energy healing, and it's $149 instead of $199 right now. I'm going to put the link below right now. And I would love to activate your energy and help you get aligned with what you are wanting to create and help you move past any blockages. All right. And so, yeah, it's like Reiki, but it's my own form. I'm not using the Reiki symbols or anything like that. It's working directly how I was shown with energy healing. Also, my Aligned and Abundant is enrolling now, and that is about manifesting, whether it's love, more money, whatever it is you truly desire. It doesn't have to be, it has abundant in the name, but it isn't just about money. I've taught this course before. I've taught it in 8 sessions. Now I'm just teaching it in 4. So it's intense and it's a bit truncated, but really, really helpful because I am a master manifester. Saying hi to you from France with sort of magical putting it together. And so, yeah, those are different ways to work with me and to go deeper. And again, thanks to my channel members. If you'd like to become a channel member, you can click join right below this video. All right. Have a great week, you guys. And check out, actually, no, before you go, I have something that talks about, my last video was healing affirmations, but it says for autoimmune, you might want to do that because it's very much self-love. So I lead a relaxation, then you do affirmations about taking care of yourself and being kind to yourself. So you guys watch that. It's really, really nice. I want to say it's just 10 minutes. So it starts with a relaxation because the more open you are, the more deep the affirmations sink, okay? And then it's all self-care and self-love affirmations. Let me see if I can check real quick what the video is called. Right now, the title, because sometimes I change the title, but it's like Soothe Autoimmune Symptoms, Relaxation and Affirmations. But yeah, autoimmune is stress, right? So you don't have to actually have autoimmune to benefit from the practice I lead there, because it's really a relaxation with really loving words to be like a balm to our spirit. Okay. Love you guys so much. Be well, and I'll talk to you later.